And we are here, and we are delighted to be here. A joy always coming together for this energetic recognition of who you are. The opportunity to see that you are becoming so much more. The joy of that understanding is it is in a reflection that is perceived with more and more falls away. It aligns you more to the presence of all that you are. It is perceived in that understanding a more simplistic truth that values you in every way. It's just nice to feel into that and know that the greater self of who you are is of that foundational expression more simplistic, because then you recognize in the moment of a desire or a calling forth, you receive all that you require in that moment. And when the energies are coming into the earth experience in a greater and greater understanding, that is a standing that is of value to be in that place of presence. Is to allow yourself to recognize this now moment, this now moment. So as you breathe into that, then you align yourself with the energies to hold within you the support for stepping into wonderful questions.
Now, Garri had a wonderful dream about those moments of quite significant earth-shifting times. And since he has had that dream, we've seen many other people also sharing about that particular shifting. And it's that moment when there is an actual manifested realization that the earth is shifting from one version to another. Would you like me to speak about his dream, or would you like to speak about it?
Well, it's a joy that you speak of it, and then we can expand within it and find the clarity.
Okay. So Garri had this dream where we were standing upon a balcony in Europe. It was European summer. And we were looking out over the ocean and watching people swimming and playing within the ocean. And suddenly, the people within the ocean, you could see that they were aware of something. They were aware of something changing. Because they were within the water, they were feeling something. And then we started feeling something. We started feeling something rippling through our body, like an energy rippling through our body. Do you want to expand on that?
Wonderful. And it was to then be recognized as the potentials of the energies that are perceived from within. So as you recognize, everyone feels it. Everyone is given the opportunity to perceive it and then define it by choice. There'll be ones that will find the fear in that. There'll be ones that will find the moment of recognizing that resonance within and feel this expansiveness that defines love and an opportunity to become something more.
Garri said that we kind of looked at each other because we realized this feeling that was coming, moving up our bodies, was this shift. It was this newness. We knew what it was because we've experienced this knowing already, and we knew there was no stopping it. It was just coming, and it was not going to stop. There was nothing we could do to hold it back. and it felt incredible. People in the ocean were moving out of the ocean, feeling concerned about what was going on, what this feeling was. And I think from there, many started looking up into the skies. There were ships upon the ocean, and everyone was looking up to the skies in fear, like what's happening, what's going on.
And in that, it is that recognition that things are to appear from the skies. What would then be, let's hide from something that is coming to the earth experience from above. But as we recognize and express it was felt within the waters, that is the reflection of a vibration that is defined by it's an inner experience reflecting through an inner becoming. So the water feels it, and then it's recognized that that is defining the true energy to be coming from within, but it creates an experience or a manifestation that is perceived in all of the experience that you are playing in that now moment. So the skies can create a uniquely different look.
And then while everyone was looking at the skies, there were land masses shifting and appearing out of the waters. They were rising and becoming.
And when that is to be recognized, it is in a way that is of a creative experience. It does not have to be defined in a destruction or of a great fear that these land masses are appearing in the bodies of water. They are just a becoming. They are becoming an expanded expression of all that you are, so then you have access to so much more. You could perceive to say that the landmass were always there, just not in the vibrational attunement to who you are in this now time. So as this wave, this energetic expression of up-leveling that is inevitable in truth, you then align to the access of then what's being gifted to you as a greater experience and a greater example of the earth experience.
So that shifting in energetic frequency that we all feel then allows us to be able to perceive this other version of earth.
Because in the expansion, it will then align you to giving the access to self to see beyond what has been called the construct, the experience that you are playing within. It all is founded on a frequency and vibration that has expanded till this now moment, that it is now resonating to a frequency that then moves beyond.
So it's like the veil is lifted from our eyes in that moment.
And that is so.
To the truth of all that is.
And the veil would be a perception of a resistance to step beyond. It would be that defining expression of fear that monitored the experience in its safe creation, and all it was perceived in that way. So as that falls away, you'll receive the access. You get to witness a greater expression of all that is.
And will all of humanity experience that?
Without question, because that would be that defining moment. As we said, there is those choices. You chose one, we would say, founded on fear. Not necessarily felt in fear, but is within a safe experience, and one that's aligned to stepping into a broader expression of experience defined through love. So all will feel it and will make that choice.
Will the ones who are still perceiving it through fear and have made that choice to continue with that experience, will they see the new land masses?
They would see it in a reference of destruction or of fear, in that attunement to align to hiding away. All manners of finding the experience to play into it, to be in a safe understanding. But when it's defined on fear, yes, it'll all be recognized, but it'll be the greater expansion that will be perceived differently.
Yeah, so that's truly where that earth split comes into play, because even though it seems now we're playing within the frequencies of two versions of earth, that there'll come that point of actual manifestation of it where we will really be perceiving two different realities of the earth experience.
And that is so. Has to be. Has come it has come to this time now to align yourself to the choices that we would say have been recognized for some time. But now it is shoring it up. Now it is within you to know, this is where I'm moving forward, and I am safe to take these steps, and I trust in all that is being offered to me in this now time. And the wonderful expression of all of that is all choices are valid and all choices are wonderful in every way, because they are defining a greater experience for all that is.
Yeah, it all creates expansion in the perfect plan.
Which aligns in a value of saying there's no this one's better or this one's otherwise. It's they are equally masterful in the expansive choice that is to be taken.
And so would this occurrence happen before a solar event or after?
Defining the solar event to be that of a great idea of a flash of energy, an amplified expression of that, or a flipping of all of that was perceived true to be otherwise, well, we'd say before it. You have that access in this now time. You have the potentials to play within it and recognize it in ways that you can then find a wonderful expression of navigating through each and every moment.
So the solar flash would happen before, and that would be part of the chain of events that would create that, those things that Garri dreamed about to occur.
In that understanding, through this one, it would be that way.
So will everyone have some realization of that flash? So there already would have been strange things occurring anyway, right?
Or without question, there'll be many things played out. There'll be many foundational fallings away that cannot hold within the resonance of where you are stepping into. So when you are perceiving the life experience and saying, well, I'm desiring to hold on to this and this and this, it is resonating that then aligns you to say you make a choice. So you're choosing the vibration that will align you in that positioning. And you choose either way. It is all of that is then perceived by all.
You mean you choose to hold on to the old, or you ready yourself to embrace the new?
choosing in that value of the expression of who you are in perfection.
And then after we spoke about this dream before, you told me that then that would bring on 3 days of darkness. Could you explain what that is or why that occurs?
When you are up-leveling and aligning to a vibrational expanded experience or an opportunity to step into a new, then that is what plays within a frequency that in that sense aligns through what you perceive as the sun expressing the energy. It is a portal, it is a supportive mechanism that gifts that vibration to you as you. So for it to do that, then it is a greater sense of opening to allow that frequency to then pour upon all that is to create the experience. So in that moment, the observation in that truth of the sun then is perceived that it becomes darkened. So you feel that there's this sense of what happened to the sun. Whilst the sun is emanating, expressing a magnificence within the light that it holds. And when you are recognizing that as a reflection of self, then there's nothing to fear. It's trusting that it's just aligning, recalibrating, recircuiting, all of that to the version that you are and have always been becoming. Ones that have felt otherwise and feel the fear will hide away and feel in themselves a greater discomfort.
So 3 days of darkness, is that actually 3 days, or is that malleable within the frequencies? Could that be longer or shorter?
We would always say it's always malleable. It's always by definition in that sense of what you perceive as time. But in the value of the expansiveness and the choices, then it is within that awareness from our perception that the 3 days is a value within the experience of stepping into a vibrational changeover in sense and then coming back online.
Mm-hmm.
We would even express that it would not truly be recognized that to be a length of time because of what the vibrational experience will play out for you as you.
So it would be like a shifting moment between one experience and another?
As that would have been experienced again and again in your life, but this one is one that without question will be amplified to that degree that you all perceive it in the most magnificent way. It's undeniable.
I always thought the solar flash would be that moment that things we've heard about, other people's premonitions, there was this solar event and from that moment everything would shift. But it sounds like there's the possibility of those solar flash events occurring in our very close future, which will then move into these other events happening afterwards.
When you recognize with what is playing out in this now time, this awareness of all that can be perceived in the earth experience, look at what's playing out in all of that has been the foundations of old, are all falling away, are all losing their stability in that sense, and or managing it or desiring to create it or find another system similar to that to step in and be supportive and then build it back how it was. All of that, it's all founded on perceiving it to be something that has been broken and can be fixed, and it is that is to be realized. It's a vibrational expansion. It is a resonance that is always expanding, can never go back, can never be within the experience to say this was what was before, and we can return it to a stability and a joy, and it just is not within that understanding. It's a whole new vibrational attunement, so it's a whole new experience.
When Garri saw these land masses emerging from the ocean, it brings to mind the Atlantis experience, because from what we've heard of the stories of that, there was this occurrence where the land masses became submerged into the ocean. It's like they fell away, and that seemed to be the beginning of the separation experience. It's like the whole experience submerged into the depths. And now we're having an experience where the opposite is occurring, where we are rising up again from the depths to the light. Yeah, it just seems like the resolution of it all.
And that, we would say, is a wonderful way of recognizing what is playing out. So it is that coming back online. It is that return of the Atlantis understanding, and it is as it was perceived through the fear that would be perceived as land masses rising in the ocean. It was that then to be of an experience that held no fear, rising up, breaking through a fear layer in that sense, a fear experience. So it lights up and it becomes back in that sense. But we would say not just back into the Atlantis vibration, because now it is embodied with all that you have become through the expansive separation story you have played. So you are now aligning to this magnificence and this opportunity that is perceived, that, it holds that remembering, that closure of the experience to then align to something far more magnificent. That is where we are aligning and speaking of humanity. Celebrate, look where you're at, look at all that you are stepping into. It's not here to look at what is falling apart, what is crumbling. It's like, thanks for the experience, thank you for those institutions of support that carried us to who we are, but now look at where we're moving into, and that's the joy. That's the joy for all that is.
Yeah, it's the time of the separation experience coming to an end. It's like we did it.
And even in that understanding of choice, you still recognize the oneness of it all, the value of one path to another. It's a supportive becoming that creates the magnificence again and again and again. So yes, you did it. You did it in such magnificence. You did it through a separation experience that was of such magnificence and perceived in so many ways. But here you are ready for the next step.
When I imagine those new lands becoming and opening up to us, it's like we get to explore it together. It's like whole new worlds opening up. Do you think those lands would be empty, or would they hold such magnificence that we have called forth already?
We would say it would be of both, but that's the joy, because it is not just the emergence of new lands, it's a new self. It's a new vibrational expression of who you are. So your abilities, your awareness of what you can perceive in an instant, There is no time lag because you recognize time. You recognize the ability to express a choice of wonder and experience that in its fullness.
Yes, and our abilities of creation will be completely different from now. We'll know how to do that, won't we? We'll know how to create in its magnificence and without limitations and without time. So there can be instant manifestation.
And in that moment, there'll be a remembering, and that remembering will be through such love and light of the experience before, perceived as at the time of Atlantis. And there'll be an honouring of that time to then create, in that sense, what was there before in its magnificence. It's that bringing it back in line, bringing it back into the glory that was perceived it to be, to then expand in a whole new way, a whole new understanding. So there's that to be played with, whilst recognizing you have then aligned to a greater expansive truth to play in a far more magical way.
So will we perceive different types of animals and different species of plants and all types of things becoming accessible like that?
With such joy, because you have perceived the idea of animals before. Oh, we found these bones and we felt these creatures were here. When it then is revealed, when there is that flip into the truth of the experience, then they then are there for you. They then are recognized and brought forth in lands of the idea of over there and over there, of magnificence, that you perceive creatures of such beauty that you could not have imagined. Always recognizing the idea when you express, oh, that one's extinct or that one's extinct, we say there is no way that that's possible. They've just attuned themselves vibrationally into a positioning where you had no access. So when they then align to the vibration to then be in your experience, then, well, there it is. Where's that one been? Where are those creatures been? And here they are. Oh, now that's magnificent.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine the way we would live within communities would be extremely different. I mean, the way we're governed at the moment is far from what we would perceive as loving and beautiful. So would we just know what to do? Will we find that sense of community with each other and know how to relate to each other and how to move forth with love?
Without question, because you'll know a true expression of love. Where you are now, it's all conditional love. It's all perceived through an experience. Well, if this environment's right, well, if this government is right, if this financial system is right, well, then I've got love, then I've got love. If it doesn't work for me, then it's not love. So it's all playing within that you let it all go, and then you get to recognize, oh, now that's love. Love that is of a creative force. A love that is co-creating unconditionally with all that is. That's the love that you are to become. That's the recognition that we are delighted to see aligned you to the true mastery, the true power that you hold within you.
And I imagine that no kind of monetary system would be needed, because we know our power as the creators of our experience, and when there's different technologies and also the powers of instant manifestations, you have said before we would play like gods, like superheroes, then there just wouldn't be the need of systems of exchange in those ways.
You'll be defining yourself through joy. playful in every aspect of the experience. The desire, the discovery, adventures, it's all within what draws you forth in a way of that innocence, that, oh, what's within this? That does not hold a vibration that I need to action to receive something that is less than joy. All of that falls away.
So we're just following our joy in every moment. And that could still contain certain actions like artistic endeavors or the joy of doing particular things, but it's done because of the joy of it rather than because we need to then sell it to create money or an exchange or anything like that.
Perfectly understood. Because in times before you'd say, well, becoming non-physical, leaving the earth experience, and there's instant manifestation in non-physicality, but there's no physicality. There is just this flow, this energetic support, this agreement to play within that. So where you are now is taking that true experience of that non-physical understanding and merging it with the love of life, the physical experience that you're playing within in this now time, and finding that resonance that then aligns you to have it all. So there's that desire to be creative in every sense. So create through joy, playing into this understanding that, whilst I am this physical unfolding, I have this access in a way that is of such magnificence. Now we would say that's the unique and joyous unfolding that is for you as you. We are here to recognize that and be supportive of that and then ride that wave that you then bring forth. So we celebrate that.
And so I imagine in these times now it's to shift our focus from the outer reality because it's falling away, because it's changing, because it's no longer who we truly are, and center within to the self that is becoming. Ground into that love, know who we are as the I am, and trust that that magnificence is unfolding at a wonderful rate.
Such joy to be had within that. What opportunity, what alignment to then say, look at me, and feel how safe that is to align yourself to that surrender, to say, well, I'm choosing this, and I'm playing within all experiences because they are what I'm bringing forth. And in the emergence, in that moment of this is what is to become of it, that's the moment. There's that, I am that.
So what things do you think we would experience in the coming months then, as we're shifting more into that frequency of change?
So here you are in these times, recognizing that things are playing out, things are falling away, energies are amplified, creating discomfort, ones that are recognizing it in a greater sense of well-being or otherwise. And so you will see there's more amplified expressions of that. Greater value of self, greater senses of lack, greater senses of innocence, greater emphasis of loss and difficulty, and it will be amplified. And there is that understanding to take the choice, feel into the value of who you are and your desires and what you are calling forth, whilst allowing what is to be felt otherwise to fall away. It will not bring an experience to you of discomfort whilst you are holding all of the love and energy you are perceiving on the value of that choice. For ones that are perceiving the experience and desiring to hold on to, well, I have this and this, and it is that strengthen that and hold on to it in that sense. If that's your comfort, that's your joy, then that's okay, because that will be the path that is supportive in that sense. And if you're in a path of I let it go, I'm trusting in the unknown in that sense. I'm just stepping forth, and I've aligned myself to that moment, and it's all equally defined through being safe, through the I am choice that carries you forward in each present moment. That's where you'll recognize ones that amplify, this is my choice and this is my action, and then ones that will say, this is my choice and this is my action. Perceived in very different vibrational expressions, but of the greatest value to the one that is making that choice.
Is there anything else you'd like to share on this particular topic?
We would always feel there's more in the clarity of the great shifts and change that are upon the earth experience. But it's just taking it a step at a time, because the speed of how it's moving in this now time, you will feel yourself get steady and then feel the expansion and then witness things that will be perceived as that has lit up in such a way that I feel a sense of desired surrender, or I feel an amplification of fear. So things will just become more and more. And that's where we express, you can take your path and enjoy it in this now time. I'm strengthening this one and I'm feeling the joy. I'm strengthening this one and I'm feeling the empowerment. It's just to feel where you are being guided in that sense, and witness self in every way that then can give you the opportunity to know you are on the most perfect path for the expansion you have called forth.
That was a nice conversation.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed it because it brings forth the opportunity of ones to know themselves in perfection, to know themselves that all is okay. I do not have that understanding of creating an experience that will hold me in a strength that will support me through these changing times, or ones that perceive I don't have that trust in that understanding of a spiritual understanding that would then be perceived to carry me into a greater sense of who I am. So it's just to acknowledge that it's all perfect. It's all playing out in a most beautiful expression of all that is. And everyone is doing the most magnificent step in every moment. Everyone takes a breath. Everyone recognizes that is in its fullness. That's the oneness. That's the expansive love that is there for all. It is such a beautiful recognition and a desired outcome, that be one path or the other, that it is to be recognized that we're all in this together.
And you've said before that it really doesn't matter whether you have spiritual knowledge or not. That has nothing to do with it. It's about your choice, soul choice, and the vibration. It doesn't matter about knowledge.
Not at all.
I imagine there's many people that just live beautiful, simplistic lives without any idea of these stories of what's going on. They're just feeling a shift or a change within them, and when that moment comes to surrender, they'll just do it easily. There's no need to know.
Or they'll do it otherwise, but they will do it in perfection.
Yeah.
And that's where you can recognize that. Oh, I would have perceived them to, in that experience of simplistic expression, living life in that way, to play in that path. When the experience unfolds, it's, oh, didn't expect that. Chose it differently. And that's that support that all will be within the choosing that is of their inner expression, of the greater expression of who they are for the value of becoming this magnificent, expansive step that is being expressed in this now time. So it'd just be in celebration. Easy.
Easy.